I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to defend his cause. Maintain the honors of his word, the glory of his cross.
Hello, I'm James Brown, and on behalf of the Eastern Church of Christ located in Toronto, Canada, I'd like to welcome you to Friday's edition of Walking Through the Bible, a podcast where we seek to study the Bible and the Bible alone. Please stick around afterwards for information on how you can contact us. But for now, if you have a Bible with you, please turn to the book of Genesis, and we'll turn you over to Jeremy Dissekam for our study of the day.
Thank you, James, and welcome to all of our viewers. This is the 40th lesson in our study of Genesis. Yesterday, we covered Genesis chapter 10, verses 1 to 5, discussing the descendants of Japheth. If you missed that episode and would like to watch it, you can find it and all of our other podcasts on our website at www.eastendchurch.org. You can also find them on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/EastEndChurchOfChrist under the Walking Through the Bible Genesis playlist. Today, we're going to begin with Genesis chapter 10, verse 6, and read through verse 20. The text that you'll see on the screen is from the English Standard Version, but you're welcome to follow along with any version that you have. So let's now read Genesis 10, beginning at verse 6. The sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raamah, and Sabtaka. The sons of Raamah, Sheba, and Dedan. Cush fathered Nimrod. He was the first on the earth to be a mighty man. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar. From that land he went into Assyria and built Nineveh, Rehoboth-ir, Calah, and Resen, between Nineveh and Calah. That is the great city. Egypt fathered Ludim, Anamim, Lahabim, Naphtuhim, Parthrusim, Casluhim, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorim. Canaan fathered Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, and the Jebusites, the Amorites, the Girgashites, the Hivites, the Arkites, the Sinites, the Arvadites, the Zamorites, and the Hamathites. Afterwards, the clans of the Canaanites dispersed, and the territory of the Canaanites extended from Sidon in the direction of Gerar as far as Gaza in the direction of Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham by their clans, their languages, their lands, and their nations. In yesterday's episode, we covered the descendants of Japheth. Among their names, there were only a select few who would be found in other places in the Bible because much of the remaining history found in the Old Testament occurs between the descendants of Shem, who we'll read of, the Lord willing, tomorrow, and the descendants of Ham. We find that Ham had 4 children, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. Many of the descendants of Cush are identified with the Ethiopians of Africa, but that doesn't preclude his descendants from being elsewhere as well. The most famous son of Cush is Nimrod, who is described here as a mighty hunter. That's one of the reasons why a definition for Nimrod is skillful hunter. Nimrod was not only a hunter, though, he was a builder and a ruler of cities. His 2 most famous cities are Babel, a city in Mesopotamia, which we'll read of in chapter 11, and Nineveh, the capital of Assyria, a nation that would afflict Israel and later take it captive in the Old Testament. Ham's second son is named Egypt. Some versions have Mizraim, which is just another name for Egypt. We're not only going to find Egypt's descendants later on in this book, but throughout the rest of the Old Testament, as they are one of Israel's chief enemies. Of Egypt's descendants, we also find the father of another one of Israel's enemies, namely Casluhim, the father of the Philistines. Next we come to Shem's third son, Put. Even though we don't have the descendants of Put listed here, it is generally accepted that his children spread over northern Africa. In Jeremiah 46, verse 9, we read of Put's descendants referred to there as Libyans and being part of Pharaoh Necho's army. Aside from saying that he existed, Genesis gives us no record of the children of Put. All of this brings us to Ham's last son mentioned here, which is Canaan. We, of course, have already met Canaan in chapter 9 when Noah cursed him because his father Ham didn't cover Noah's nakedness. He was cursed to be the servant of the descendants of Shem. This curse, however, didn't seem to come to pass until hundreds of years later, and in that time the descendants of Canaan became quite plentiful and quite powerful. Their land stretched from what we would call Lebanon in the north down through Gaza with the Jordan River as its major eastern border. It was the land of Canaan the children of Israel conquered in the book of Joshua, and it was all of Canaan's descendants who lived in that land that God told Israel to utterly destroy, a command that they disobeyed to their detriment. Canaan's firstborn was Sidon. Some have suggested that the city of Sidon was named after Canaan's firstborn, but that can't be definitively proven. Canaan's second-born was Heth, who would be the father of the Hittites. Canaan would also be the father of many other tribes, such as the Jebusites, who were the inhabitants of the city we call Jerusalem, and the Amorites, perhaps the most powerful people in the land of Canaan. In fact, the Amorites were so large and so powerful that even though the land is called the land of Canaan, God would refer to the entire collection of people living there as the Amorites when he explained to Abraham how long it would be before his descendants would possess the land in Genesis 15:16. As for the rest of Canaan's descendants, we'll come into contact with them more as we study further in the Old Testament, so we'll leave it there for now. With that, our time is up for today. Please join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we will continue our study of Genesis, beginning with Genesis 10:21.
Thank you, Jeremy. And to our viewers, we also thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. Should you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below or email us at answerintheword@gmail.com. We'll try to respond to you as quickly as we can. We hope you'll join us, the Lord willing, tomorrow when we'll be continuing our study of the book of Genesis. Goodbye for now and have a great day.
I'm not ashamed to own my Lord, nor to